Greetings and welcome everyone to this podcast entitled, What is Meditation? I'm David Moses, joined by Michelle Thomas. This podcast is meant to teach you something of the basics of meditation. Please join Michelle and I for this first episode of this series of 3 podcasts. I'll now pass it over to Michelle and how people are dealing with stress during this ongoing situation with COVID-19 and the ongoing variants, as well as how that is affecting our mental health. Michelle.
Hi, David. Thanks for that. Yeah, mental health is huge right now, especially with COVID and the levels of stress that we're facing are very different from anything that we've had before because everything is just so consistent and there seems to be no change in the environment that we're facing. So because of that, meditation and various other coping skills are coming to the forefront in terms of this is how we can improve our mental health situation. So I'm going to talk a little bit about meditation. Simply put, meditation is a way to work with your breathing to control your body's stress response. So that's really important. The autonomic nervous system regulates our involuntary physiological responses. So things like our heart rate, our blood pressure, our breathing, etc. So that nervous system, when we're faced with this crazy amount of stress, gets all out of whack. So if we don't do something to assist that, then we can deeply impact our health, right? Not just our mental health, but our physical health as well.
It's really interesting how you say breath and how breath can help us de-stress ourselves.
Right. Yeah, breath is a huge part of meditation. Working with our breath helps us to control the stress response so that our body is not stuck in that fight or flight response because there's so much that goes into it. Like we put a lot of pressure on our adrenal glands when we are overstressed. And so we stay stuck in that flight or fight response.
So then how do you work with your breath?
So I'm going to go through a couple of techniques with you today. There's a whole variety of different breathing techniques, but one of the most common ones, and if you practice meditation at all or have had guided meditation, you probably came across this. A common one is in through the nose and out through the mouth. So you can start practicing meditation by setting a timer for 1 minute while doing this breathing technique, or even 30 seconds. Or sometimes I have clients that I work with and I'll tell them to do 10 breaths like that, because sometimes when we're just starting to set a timer for a minute is intimidating and overwhelming. So focus on maybe just, okay, I'm going to do 10 breaths like that. Another one that you can do, which is very relaxing, is to do 2 short in breaths through your nose and then a long one through your mouth. So it just goes and that is a really powerful one because it really relaxes that stress response. And so even if you do that for a round of 10 and then just do a couple of deep breathing after that, that will really be helpful too.
Hey, you know what else is really interesting about that is just hearing you, or I guess anyone, do breathing is almost relaxing in itself, just listening to that.
Yeah, it can be.
That's great. Well, understanding meditation and stress management is very timely for everyone in today's world. Of course, simple breathing techniques can assist our body in regulating the autonomic function to help us be more in alignment. Is that correct?
Yes, that's definitely an important factor in meditation, is just giving ourselves and our bodies time to decompress and quiet our mind. And it doesn't have to be complex. It can be done in, when you can adjust it to fit into your schedule. So we don't need any special props or, any kind of really special techniques. We can start with the basics of doing what I just shared with you today, and you'll have something that can help you during those stressful times.
That's great, Michelle. Thanks for explaining a little bit about meditation and the basics of meditation. How does this all fit in with mindfulness?
Well, mindfulness can be a big part of this because it's about being aware of our body, to recognize when we're stuck or frozen in that fight or flight, that we have a tool to say, okay, I'm going to stop and I'm just going to put everything on pause, do this deep breathing, and I'm going to empty my mind, as much as we can during that time when you're deep breathing, that you're trying to clear your mind as well, right? So it's the mindfulness of saying, I need to pause and I need to just get back to alignment so that I'm not holding that stress response.
Okay. Well, thanks for that.
Thank you for listening, everyone. Thanks, David. So I want to invite people to join us for our next episode. What is breath work? We'll go into a little bit more detail on that. And to try some meditations, don't forget to visit ONECA, ONECA.com. There's some great samples of various meditations that are available there.